I'm going to be having this conversation today with my guest, Dr. Victor Ohai, a political affair analyst, and also Comrade John C. Imaku, a political affair analyst. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. And you?
I'm very well, thank you. And Comrade John C. Imaku, political affairs analyst. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Elena.
How are you doing today, sir?
I'm fine. Good morning, viewers.
Good morning. Thank you so much for coming. August 15, the Imo State government, the banned graduation ceremony to organize. They said no more graduation parties or ceremony for kindergarten, nursery, and also just as 3 students, aiming to reduce unnecessary burdens to the parents, and also to refocus attention on academics, for the students to be like focused and all of that. Only graduations for primary Cs and SS3 are now permitted, and also the use of textbook also will commence reuse of textbook. You have textbook and you use it for like 4 years. You can use your textbook and pass it to your younger siblings. I think this happened when I was in school then, but I don't know. I feel it's a great one. It's a great one for them to put all these things together. And, and also school must stick to approved textbooks list and cease annual textbooks demanding new sets every section, because that is what they do. An elderly one uses textbook, the younger siblings cannot use it. You need to get new textbook every section. So what we're going to be talking about today, how do parents see this new development, the schools and also the students, that is what we're basically going to be talking about today. What steps are in place to ensure school sticks to their approved textbook list and 4 years reuse policy? I'm going to be starting with you, Dr. Victor Ohai.
Apparently, you've answered all the questions. So I was wondering what we were still doing here. No, but thank you very much. What has happened over the years is that schools have devised methods for maximizing profits. The reuse of textbooks is not so much an improvement on the curriculum or the contents or anything like that. What they simply, because at the beginning of the year, your fees are so much, and then the one for books, which you must buy from them, are so much, and they make profits from it. And so what used to happen, like you rightly pointed out in our time, was we would hand down textbooks, but you find that it's no longer the case. And it has, without any doubt, created great burden on parents. And so I think there's a welcome development. It means you have governments in place that are actually listening, because now, children, they, especially at the lower levels, and even until when you begin to choose your courses in like senior secondary school now, where perhaps one is going science, commercial, or arts, as the case may be. So, but it is important that this policy is in place, and I hope it cuts right across the country. But as I was talking about it yesterday at home, one of my children was saying to me, sir, that they have, I don't know if it's my wife that said it, said they've even gotten a step ahead. What they do now is that they create textbooks with workbook inside them. So you must answer.
So with that
one, it rubbishes it and all that. No. So I think that the government must be a step ahead of them, and really be very, very decisive about implementing this, so that, particularly because of the high cost of
they actually made this, thank you, they made it clear that workbook will be separate and textbook will be separate, so you don't have to, do your assignments or your classwork.
That is well thought out.
And it's a very good development, I would say. Comrade John C. Imaku, let's get to hear your take on that.
Thank you. My take on this, you've said it all, but let me just buttress most of the points you said actually.
Okay.
You see, government are the regulatory agency of these schools. And it's like over time, they've left them to do what they feel they can do because they are scholars, and it's not supposed to be so. That is why we find ourselves in where we are now as regard the topic of discourse.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
This graduation jamboree, that I will call it graduation jamboree,
Okay, I thought I was coming later. But go ahead, sorry.
is a waste of resources. And many parents are languishing in pain within themselves. They can't speak out. I must thank and appreciate the effort of the Imo State government and Edo State as well for taking that drastic decision on a more serious note. I wouldn't want to be too detailed, okay? I happen to be part of the parent who experienced what happened recently. It was like as if the world wants to come to an end for the parents. They were churning out their unearned money to lavish on issues that are not relevant. So to me, I want to believe that the government need to really monitor the private school precisely and make sure that they compel them to do the needful. That's my take.
Okay, thank you so much, Comrade Johnson, for that. At this point, do you think this could drive parents towards an official ceremony? Let's talk about those parents, especially, you know, from those parents that are not too wealthy. Let's talk about that. You know, most of these parents, during this graduation ceremony, I've come to understand that it's just like a memory for them, for the children, you know, having pictures and all of that. So with this whole new policy, do you think this could drive parents towards unofficial ceremony or in case pressure on public schools?
Yes, you see, they actually drive parents to pressure because some of these parents do not have the capacity to foot these bills, and when it comes to them, they have no option than to go and get it, because it's more or less like if you cannot do it, then your child might even call you daddy. Why am I not among the people that are doing this thing? And it will sound so irritative to the parent in concern. So it is of a pressure of a thing. It's putting more pressure on parent, and it should be checkmate before it will lead to something else.
Dr. Victor, let's get your take on that.
Okay, so there are psychological implications for some of these things. I mean, yes, terminal classes, it's good to celebrate their milestone. I want them call the milestone classes, primary 6. Because of the 6334 system, the JS3 is another milestone. But what happens is the issue of graduation, while it is good to say, okay, yes, you have broken a major milestone, it's important to know that JS3 is not terminal.
Yeah.
You know, it's just you have finished the basic level, you're moving on to another level.
Exactly.
And if you celebrate it like it's the end of everything, then the guy will just as well go and join. Not that there's anything wrong with being a bus conductor, but I mean, you can be much more than that, you know. So, and then, you know, and I've seen videos, even the ones that are done for secondary school, is ridiculous. I saw one, Benin, in Edo State, where a kid was spraying money on his girlfriend during the graduation.
I saw that video as well.
You know, and then I saw another also from Edo State. The vehicles that were coming, I mean, is like, I mean, the cars.
That's prom.
Yes.
They call it prom.
I'm not American, I'm Nigerian, so I'm not going to be using any of those terms. We import things that don't add any value to our system here, you know. So you see situations like that, you begin to wonder. Then, you know, if you're a kid from not so privileged background, even if you're all in private school, there's still various levels. Your father may have been struggling, your parents with their hard-earned money to see that you get a good education, they put you in a good school, all their savings will go in there. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're a rich kid or that your parents are rich, okay? And then you find those from families where they have more money than sense. And then, you know, you put pressure, and then this kid begins to feel, is there something wrong? When their parents come to visit them, they pretend that their father is their driver. It happens.
Interesting.
You understand? Then it's like, oh no, it's our driver, because not because you're not proud of your father, but the embarrassment. How can you say it? Because the others will look at you like. So it's important that, and it does a lot for the psyche of these kids. So I like what, you know, which is what uniforms do in schools. Imagine if you don't use uniforms, what would happen? You know, kids. I mean, you would then see those who are wearing Bendam boutique. It's not a crime, and then you see those who are wearing designer clothes, and then it would be terrible.
Yes.
And so it's important that we focus on school and get these kids to focus on their education, because this creates, what is happening now creates unnecessary competition, unnecessary pressure, and it does not help the psyche of the kids.
All right, thank you so much. The National Orientation Agency, NOA, they actually praised this new policy, saying it encourages discipline, reduce wasteful celebration, and also support value reorientation and the relief of financial burden that is for parents. Okay, let's talk about those schools in rural area. I said this area earlier. Those schools in rural area, like in Edo State, you know, will they have the access to resources to deliver those mandatory skills certificates? You know, the government has made it compulsory.
Okay, so I don't know if it's for the government schools, but I'm going to speak for both. Okay,
both
so
schools, yeah.
If it's a policy, it can be implemented. Rural area, it doesn't matter. Let me explain. When we say skills, what it simply means is, I mean, they're not, those that can deliver technical skills will do that. There are other vocational skill sets. Tailoring is one of them.
Yeah.
Baking. You know, cooking itself. There's so many skills. Farming is. There are schools where you have young farmers club.
Yes.
And then they grow gardens. In the rural area, they have a competitive advantage in that area. They can train farmers. They can have poultries and rear goats and all of that. These are skill sets. Fishery. These are skill sets. So not all must do technical. Oh, you don't have the laboratory or the technical workshop. Thank you very much. You don't have the technical workshop. Not all. It mustn't all be that. So you look for what you have an advantage over. And because it's a government policy, your school cannot be approved unless you demonstrate that beyond academics, you're also going to implement technical skills. We see today medical doctors who are no longer practicing, they're fashion designers. We've seen lawyers who are making soup pots and delivering by, I don't know if you get what I'm saying, you know, what they do is they cook and then riders come, take and deliver soup because they have learned this, you know, the art of cookery and all that. There are some who are into bead making, there's some, so, and the way the world is going, it's no longer going to be our certificate.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr.
But it's about skills.
Oh, hi. Thank you very much. Thank you. You know, I had a conversation with a friend. You know, the person said something. It was like, you know, there's no need to go to school. Just learn handwork, because he was making emphasis about a particular person. He said, look at me that I went to school. She was talking about herself, that I don't even have a job. And this person that has like handwork, you know, the person is doing well for himself. She was just telling me that most times it is not even compulsory. You don't even go to school. School is scam, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, don't say that. School is not scam. All these skills, they are good, you know.
Let's say something about that, what you're doing.
It's okay. But before you say something about that, let's allow Comrade Johnson. What would you have to say about that?
Well, the government has a lot to do for this policy. They shouldn't allow the people in the rural area who are operating school in the rural area, they shouldn't let them alone. They must beam a searchlight on them, monitor them, and make sure, just like Mr. Ohai have stated, and make sure that they meet up with the requirement before they approve a certain school to operate. You
know, in Nigeria, most times they just come out to say this particular thing. They are not being implemented.
Are you asking me? I don't agree with you. I think that we should give more credit. Government, we should give credit to government. They are not as. First of all, let me start from government schools. It's like government hospitals. I keep saying till tomorrow, the best hospitals are the government hospitals. The best schools are the government schools.
Right.
The reason is that you still have inspectors coming to check regularly these teachers. They employ teachers that are properly qualified, who are trained in education. Okay, so the standards are maintained. Now for the private schools, they are filling in the gap. But in filling in the gap, as he has also rightly pointed out, there are regulations. You must fulfill certain requirements before. That they're in rural areas does not mean that. I mean, if you don't even have, not everyone even has the capacity to set up a private school in the rural area, because how many people can pay fees in the villages? So most of what you have are government schools. So where you have private schools, mostly are in the big cities, where people can afford to pay, or in the local government headquarters, where people can afford to pay. Now, let me answer the issue of whether school is scam and all that.
Yes.
It's not scam, and I'll tell you why. What is Julius Berger but glorified bricklayers and builders? Okay? Look at LifeMate, sorry for mentioning brands here. Some of the big furniture companies, they are glorified carpenters. That's who they are.
Yeah.
Louis Vuitton and some of these other designers, or some of the big fashion brands, they are glorified tailors, if you like. You understand what I'm saying? But what makes the difference is the entrepreneurial approach to it. So, which means that what school gives you, and I think that one of the things that should be emphasized is entrepreneurial training as well, education. So basic accounting, marketing, and some of those skills that you will need, bookkeeping, to be able to, run the business properly. This should form part of the curriculum. So when you talk about skills, also talk about a curriculum, adding entrepreneurship to the curriculum, so that when they learn these skills, they can implement them. And then let me just mention this quickly before you go.
Okay.
If you're going abroad today and you want to make money from the beginning, first of all, go and learn plumbing, electrical work, truck driving, some of those things that you look at like nothing. Those skill sets, braiding, okay?
Yes,
makeup, and some of these other things. Learn them in addition to your education. So your education will help you to market those skills. But they are ready. Otherwise, if it's just book and talk, hungry will kill you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's look at this in another perspective. Don't you also think that this banning of graduation parties of a thing reduces memorable experiences for low-income families? Sometimes most of these low-income families, I know at the same time, most of them, they would look for money, for graduation and all of that. But most times, if you should look at it in another way, most of these events are the time that they do have a memorable experience, experience for these low-income families at the same time. What do you think?
My take on this, let me illustrate. When you are considering an instances, look at it from two ways.
Two ways, yes, exactly.
Which I could say demerit or merit.
Yes.
All we are deliberating upon now, I want to believe that the demerit of this graduation stuff, whether it reduces the memory or not, the demerit outweigh the advantage or whatever benefits that is going to the parent or the parties that are involved. And as such, I would say those, whatever they look as merit of the act, should not be given attention. Yes, it should not be given attention. It does not stand enough to allow it to go on.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So, Dr. Oka, you agree with him?
I'll ask you a question. When was the last time you looked at your primary school pictures? And what does it really mean to you?
It's sometimes I look at them and I'm like, oh, more, they don't tell.
You've moved on. The truth is, you strive higher. You look forward. You don't look back. So the issue of memory creating.
Okay. We would have to round off now.
Okay.
Yes, we are.
Time is never enough.
Time is never enough. All right. So sorry for cutting you short,
That's
Dr.
fine.
Victor. Oh, hi. Okay. We're still on TMI this beautiful morning on ITV, and we will be handing over to our Benin Network Studio for the continuation on this program. I am Marcelina Unkwa. Stay tuned.